Well, good morning, everybody. I'm Jan Erickson from Stepping Aside, and welcome to Somewhat Daily Tarot and Rune. I can't take Twitter off my iPad here. I was scrolling while this was warming up here. Anyway, welcome to Somewhat Daily Tarot and Rune for Thursday, the 27th day of May. God, we're almost in June. Can you believe it? Anyway, 2021. Let me move my keyboard out of the way here. Anyhow, I wanted to go over really quickly with you what we did on Monday. We had Laguz and Acquisitio, so flow in spirit is Laguz, and then Acquisitio is gain. We also had the Page of Cups, the Hierophant, and the Eight of Wands, which together that was a 4 numerology, and then we had to draw another card, a fourth card, the Emperor, which is also a 4 numerology. Together, that's 8 or strength. But or material gain, really. So Acquisitio, it's Acquisitio. But initially, the first 3 cards, Page of Cups, Hierophant, and Eight of Wands, how we interpreted that was there's a lot, you're feeling very overwhelmed. A lot's coming in on you. And we should take the offer of compassion with the Page of Cups and from a mentor, which is the Hierophant. Let's see, and then with the goal to having a more pragmatic or reasoned or disciplined approach to whatever we're doing, and then that would be reflected by the Emperor. So that was kind of what we were talking about on Monday. Let's put that over here, and then we'll go ahead and take the rune and everything, the runes right now, and then we'll do the cards. See, are we going to continue on in the same vein, or are we going to maybe do something else today? So anyhow, we'll see if anything happened as a result. Maybe it'll reflect what happened as a result of taking a more disciplined approach to something. So let's see what the Elder Futhark rune is. Well, we have Fehu, the first rune of the Elder Futhark. It means cattle and wealth that's movable, but it's also the sending rune. So it's the energy behind making all that happen, making the wealth happen. In witchcraft, you would think of it as the sending rune. In other words, you get your stuff all together. You've got your spell working. You can then use Fehu. You can chant Fehu to cast that intention to the universe. And so Fehu is actually really powerful rune in that regard. So let's go ahead then and take our geomancy rune here and see what it has to say. Well, this is a missio. I'll show you. Let's see, do I have a missio out? I don't. Okay. No, that's Acquisitio. Acquisitio is the opposite. So we had a missio, Acquisitio on Monday, and then we have Acquisitio. Or a missio rather on Thursday here. So here's a missio, but here's Acquisitio. So you can see how they're each other's complement. You just turn this upside down, and you've got the other. Okay, see. Well, anyway, my wrists don't work that well. Anyhow, so apparently we've now here's the thing about the geomancy runes. Sometimes it's a matter of increase and decrease. Okay, and so you can think of Acquisitio on Monday as financial gain, or not. You can just be the gain of something, the increase of something. Now, a missio, on the other hand, the loss it could talk about could be maybe, say you've got a problem that's happening, but you resolve the problem, okay? And now you no longer have the problem. That can also be reflected in the meaning of a missio. So, but it could mean financial loss if you want to think of it that way. It can be loss of any kind, including the loss of a problem you've met. So in other words, you resolved it. So maybe this is signaling we're going to turn a corner, at least with the cards. But maybe not. Maybe this is, a continuation. Maybe a lack of discipline was getting you in a position before on Monday where nothing was happening. You weren't going anywhere. And so you needed the advice of somebody else, a compassionate, a hand up maybe, and so maybe that's happened and so either we're going the other way or we've resolved it. And that's what a missio is telling us. And it's time to manifest something new with Fehu. So let's take a look at the first 3 cards and see if we need to have any more after that. We probably won't know that, though, till we talk about it. So, all right. Let's see. I'll put that there. Put the cards there. Let's not set myself on fire here with the candle, because the flame is going crazy. What's that about? Probably all my movement. Let me get this straight here. All right. So we have the Five of Wands. Creative conflict, playful struggle. Nobody's hitting one another, but it's the invoking of will by 5 different people. And so nobody's really on the same page here. 5 is about change, it's about protection, it's about fulfillment. Think the pentagram is a very protective symbol. But here, you've just got a bunch of conflict, competition maybe. Things can be off balance in this card. You can think of it that way. Here we have the 10 of Cups, which I think we'll probably put at the end, but we'll talk about it anyway. Here you see the rainbow with 10 golden chalices above. The little lines are indicative of the emanation of all of it. You see the family here on this section of the card. You see a line of demarcation here, and you see their home off in the distance. So here with the 10, we've come full circle, haven't we? And we're beginning again. They've got this new home. Maybe they're moving into the home. Maybe they just bought it. But they have a sense of emotional fulfillment. Cups is the water element, so are emotions. And so they have a sense of emotional fulfillment with this 10. And with the rainbow above, it's almost like they're walking through an archway into new experiences, aren't they? As a family. The kids are dancing. Mom and dad are holding. Dad's got his arm around mom. They're each holding an arm up in happiness and celebration at their life together. So born from creative conflict, maybe, I don't know. But you'll see in a minute when we talk about the sun. The sun is our third card. 19th card of the major arcana, a 1 energy. The same with the 10 is also reduces to 1. New beginnings, victory, success. So I think we're going to put the sun in the center, aren't we? And have this be the outcome. We see the sun above, the rays expressing everywhere, the rays of spirit, the rays of the creator. You see the sunflowers above the rock wall or concrete wall. You see the child indicating purity and newness. You see the red pennant there, that's victory. The big flag there. You see the white horse. Again, purity of expression with the child there. But the sun is about happiness and fulfillment. It represents the self, its clarity, success, reunion, the light returning, awakening. But, maybe we awakened from whatever the conflict was. 5 indicates change. So something's changing in this card. Expression of will. Here you have an even stronger expression of will. Or I should say the result of it, maybe. Given the idea of victory. That sort of indicates, the end of something when you're victorious. So together these two are a 2. The two 1 energies here. And 5, that's 7. So inherent in the 7 is the idea of observation. Okay. It's think the scales. You're going to let everything come to rest. Numerologically, each pan would be a 3 and the center point would be a 1. So that's 7. All right. And what that indicates whenever you see a 7 energy, the idea is to take a step back and see the bigger picture. When we talk about the universe is considered in esoteric astrology and esoteric thinking to be a septenate experience. And so it's a series of 7s or multiples of 7s. We also see 12s and 4s and 3s, but the 4 and the 3 add up to 7, don't they? So we think the 7 cosmic rays. The Pleiades is a 7 sisters. There's lots of 7s in astrology and really in our existence. And so fundamentally, when you think about that, it's a number of spirit, it's a number of magic, it's a number of balance. But you get that clarity by stepping back and observing and letting things come to rest, letting the scales balance out, if you will. And so maybe inherent in this after we had some creative conflict, maybe we had some of that with the awakening brought in by the sun. We were able to see whatever this is a little more clearly, and then we were able to come into some level of success and emotional fulfillment here. The family has a home, you know, and whatever loss that might have been experienced here, or we lose the barriers to clarity, maybe. Emissio could be that, maybe. It's just that with Fehu being a manifestation rune, we're probably going to align that then with the sun energy then. And so it seems to me that you lose, so in a sense then Emissio would be letting go of perceptions that get in the way of success, maybe, that keep you from maybe hearing the other people in the group and hearing their positions, because it doesn't really look like anybody's listening to anybody here. You know, they're just asserting their own beliefs, they're asserting their own will, they're asserting their own opinions, and even though it's not swords, this is their own. We'll instead of calling it that, let's call it creative expression. Let's call it that. Then that would be more fire element. All right. So the opinions and the verbiage is all swords. So that's why we really need to call it more the creative spark, the creative ideas that that you have is more the fire element. The birth of something else. You know, here you could have the struggle that's happening to get the birth of something else, right? Let's do one more card, just to see if we can get maybe one more thing. In fact, maybe we'll do two. Let's do this next card and see what can get in the way of this. And then we'll see, maybe we'll do and we'll either stop there, or we'll see what the time is here. We'll either stop there or we'll do a final outcome card. But it just feels to me like the Ten of Cups is really the outcome here. You know, I'm going to do the 13th card, though, each time for randomness sake. Well, yeah. Now, the Ace of Swords generally is the genesis of all of the air element, basically, of everything contained within this suit. It's the genesis of all of it. We see a hand reaching out from the dark clouds of mystery. We see the crown above. Now, the crown is spirit. It's the creator. And we see the garland up there. This is success. It's victory. It's balance. It's intellect. Intellectual expression. But if we're going to look at it in terms of what's going to, how shall I say, cross us, maybe, that's going to challenge us, is not being in balance with our expression. So that could be the thing that crosses us, all right, that causes us difficulty, in other words. So that's the one thing we have to be aware of, that it may not be, in other words, with the Five of Wands, if we have a bunch of different people, 5 different people asserting their own will, asserting their own creative ideas and whatnot, creative impulses, you know, at some point, you know, they're going to have to come to a decision about what they're going to do, right? And hopefully they can come into some kind of harmony about it, you know. Which, if you're looking at the cosmic rays, you're looking at harmony through conflict, which is the 4th ray there. But then, so it's like realistically that should be like a 4 card, but whatever. If you're going to align it with that, with the rays. But anyhow, the idea of struggle and then clarity, understanding, leading to success and emotional fulfillment, we've got to drop the single-minded focus. So, I mean, theoretically, that might be considered a reversal. And usually when you're looking at a cross card, you're looking at a reversal. And so, or you want to read it that way. At least some people think so. And so if we look at it that way, instead of, you know, brilliance and intuition and clarity and all of that, it's like, well, you know, maybe you're going to try to do it by deceptive means. Well, that's not, you know, really in alignment with the sun. So you don't want to do that. You want to be careful to control the single-minded focus and understand that harmony toward an outcome is better than otherwise, right? Than what's happening in the 5. Okay, so here's the thing. We have the high priestess as the outcome. Now, this is going to avoid a single-minded focus because, again, we're going to read this as a reversal. Okay? So in other words, it's the opposite of not all cards are that way. The devil, for example, is not thought of as being somebody that's non-egoic. It might just be less so. But there's some cards that what we do in tarot is we read them in a way that isn't so much the opposite of it. It's really just maybe a lesser influence or a lesser impact, not as strong of an impact. But in this case, the clarity brought with this, maybe you seek within the 5 to win by deceptive means. But you see, then you wouldn't have this, would you? So it's really a challenge to the clarity and awakening that you need to have so that you can move forward in harmony. This suggests harmony, right? And a positive outcome. But to do that, you've got to let go of perceptions that no longer serve. So if we want to look at the Ace of Swords in a reversal as the challenge card, then we're going to align it with a missio or loss. So the challenge is to lose the perceptions that don't serve, don't have a single-minded focus, don't be deceptive in the whole thing. And then when you see the High Priestess, you see the 2 that's in balance. She sits between the pillars that supposedly were right there at the entrance of Solomon's temple. I won't pronounce it right. Boaz and Jakim, I think. Anyway, or Yakim maybe. I think the J is a Y sound. But behind her, the tapestry behind her is the Tree of Life from the Kabbalah. Okay? It's a very hermetic card. She's got 1 foot on the maiden moon. The thing about this, and this is why I think she has her foot on a maiden moon and not on the mother or the crone, is because with the High Priestess and the Magician, they are the first 2 cards after the Fool. We see the Fool on the precipice of something new, of taking that leap into form. Doesn't know yet if he's going to be a man or a woman. Well, maybe he's made the choice, but we don't know it. All right? Right there, he's in his androgynous form. He's in his soul form, where there's no gender. Okay? And so once he does that, though, the magician basically uses all the elements to craft his life, craft his body, craft everything about him. But in my view, the High Priestess controls the soul and the unconscious. She controls intuition. She reflects wisdom, the divine feminine, revelation, compassion, inner wisdom, dreams, change, alignment. In between, something is an alignment. She's choosing the middle path. You see Maiden Mother Crone reflected in her crown there, in her headdress. You see a cross right here on the front of her gown. Now, it's not a religious cross. Again, we're still in the place of formation of the individual into form with the Magician and the High Priestess. And so here, all that's representing is, I wonder if I still have that right here. Well, I don't know what I did with it. Let me draw it up really. I'll draw it up real quick for you here. But the idea of the cross, I don't interpret it as religious or medical. This is what I see it as. This is a line of the abyss. This is the area that the Magician and the High Priestess work. They work above that line. And then everything gets infused into the ego and into form. But this is your line of abyss, and I think that that's what this is talking about. I really do. I think this is the representation. She's reminding us of where she is in that process. Now, she holds the Torah in Hermetic traditions, in Hebrew traditions, to be the Word of God. So there's the wisdom there. They show the temples in black and white, and so black would be the feminine, and white would be the masculine polarity. And we're not talking gender there. We're talking receptive and projective presence. So we're balancing the two, she's trying to find some way to do that within the individual. in terms of the theme that they've chosen before coming into form and all of that. It all has to be created. And then you go down below the line of the abyss, and there you are into form, you see, and into what we look like now. So the idea is to keep all of that in balance and to remember to let spirit guide this process. And, you know, if this is a battle of wills, it's not a battle of spirit, it's a battle of ego. It's a battle of I wants, you see. I want, you know. But in order to figure that out, you know, you have to remember that it needs to be a collaborative effort. That's where the Ace of Swords reversed comes in. It has to be a collaborative effort. It cannot be something where you are going to, in other words, for the sun to come out and for clarity to return and victory to happen, success to happen, it can't, the struggle has to end and some kind of an agreement has to be made. And it can't necessarily be your way. Now, it might be, yours might be the best solution, and that's one thing, but that's a different energy. Okay? It's not you demanding that my way or the highway, right? That's not what this is. You come into balance. You use the inner wisdom, the inner knowing, the compassion to then come into balance and harmony with other people, to have that awakening. All right? It's done, again, guided by spirit. The Sun card and the High Priestess are in it together in this reading. And then at the end, we have fulfillment, don't we? Very cool. So, I don't know. I'm thinking that, you know, maybe the pragmatic approach broke down and we had a little more conflict, weren't quite ready to let go of our own egos maybe a little bit in that and take a more self-disciplined approach. And so we got that worked out and clarity returned. And we understand that the challenge is ego. We understand that we have to come into balance with spirit guiding that whole process in order to then be fulfilled emotionally. In terms of our success. Sometimes success, you know, you kind of feel like empty afterwards, like, oh yeah, all right, whatever. What was that for? You know, why did I do that? I might have been successful, but you know, I'm wholly unfulfilled. It's like Sunday night we decided to we were hunkered down February 2nd of 2020. All right. We've not gone anywhere. We don't go to dinner. We don't go through drive-throughs. We don't go to any restaurants at all. Till Sunday. And then we went through a drive-through. We didn't want to cook. We said, well, we've been vaccinated. Let's just go up through the driveway. We'll wear masks. You know, it's fine. And so we did. Got some tacos and stuff. Ate them. By Monday afternoon, early afternoon, my husband was so ill. And a few hours later, I got ill. And yesterday was a nightmare, Tuesday was a nightmare. We couldn't leave the house at all, and we had to irrigate, you know. So it's like, oh my God, and we've got 5 acres that we irrigate. So I mean, you know, we've got to leave the house, right? So that was tough. That was challenging, and then so consequently, we both felt well enough last night that we could eat some rice. I made a casserole, chicken and wild rice casserole. So I was careful. I didn't over season it or anything. And so we were able to have some of that. And my husband said before I started this, you think we could just have that this morning? I'm not ready for real food yet. So we're both still dealing with it. And but we're on the mend, thank goodness. But I'll tell you what, my husband was so sick on Tuesday, I wasn't sure if I was going to have to take him to the hospital. He was that sick. He couldn't, it was just, everything was running through him and it was just horrible. So I don't know what happened, but I know it was from there and I don't know. It's like the first time we do this and this happens, it's like, oh my God. Anyway, so I hope your week's going better than mine is. So I don't do well when I'm sick. Neither does my husband. And he's somebody that doesn't stop. So for this to like lay him out, that's how bad it was. So anyway, so hopefully we'll be completely well by next week, and I think we will. We're heading in that direction. So anyway, So thanks so much for stopping by, and do check out Esoteric Influences on Sunday. I'll send out the newsletter that has that in it on Saturday night. I think that's when I'm going to get them done, is send them out then. And it'll also appear on the blog. So will the video for it. But you know, click subscribe here, come back. We do this Monday through Thursday, or Monday and Thursday. Used to be Monday through Thursday. I did it 4 days a week. But then it didn't give me time to do anything else. You know, if I want to do a little rune video or something, I do magical forecasts Monday through Friday on the blog, and in it there's a rune divination. Sometimes I like to talk about them on a little video. I'm thinking, wow, this is cool. This would be something cool to talk about. So I'll do like a 5-minute video, maybe 10-minute the most, usually about 6 minutes. And so it gives me time to do that. Or if I want to do something herbal, I can do that. So anyhow, and plus it gives people a chance to think about what the cards and runes said on Monday, you know, and work with them during, you know, Tuesday and Wednesday, and then come back and on Thursday to either get more of that or go in a new direction. So I just think it balances it out better. So anyway, I guess that's it. Everything is below the video. It says that show more. Just click on it. You'll see all the links below the video. Everywhere I am, and I guess that's it. So, you know, be careful what you eat. I don't know. Be good to yourself. Be good to one another, and blessed be.